Was recently studying a bit of math and figured out that today's ESA match equals absolute W's. And welcome to another fantastic show match where today we're going to be having ourselves, I do believe it will be the lower bracket semis. Are we good on
No,
that?
no, Papa.
No?
Upper bracket
It's the upper
semi-final.
bracket. Oh,
Upper bracket semi is what we've got today. It's going to be Entropy versus. Hand it over to you.
oh, Entropy versus MG Minions. I love the MG Minions, boys. You know, I've been casting them a lot this season, and I'm interested to see what they can pull off today.
Yeah, it's going to be a great matchup. People on Twitter were calling this the El Clasico of the ESA matchup, which is, I love it, by the way. Absolutely love it. Also, it's not Minions, by the way. It's MolotovGang we've got today. So just to confirm,
Oh my
the
god.
lineup for today is going to be your upper bracket semi-final, which is going to be between Entropy and MolotovGang. So it's been a long few days for you, Puffo. The studying has got to you just a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's all good. We should have a banging game coming up. As people are saying, El Clasico of ESA. So this should be a great game coming up for us to cast over, Puffo.
Yeah, no, in general, I mean, what I did in the end was kind of spoil tomorrow's match, which will be MG Minions versus Crown Zero, but that's not today. That's going to be Entropy and MVG. And of course, the reason they're calling it the El Clasico, because these teams have faced each other countless of times throughout ESA seasons back to back. And, you know, all of these matches were really bangers. And I'm just wondering, you know, we have another match. We've seen them play on a lot of maps, but which maps will be the pick of sorts today? That's my wonder. It's a best of three, so we have 3 to go up till max, 2 at the minimum. And well, for the first one, Consulate, followed by Skyscraper, and Clubhouse for the last.
We've got very, very defender-sided maps coming in for this series. When I last got to watch both of these teams, both of them can attack very, very well. So this is going to be one of those series where it's going to come down to who can attack better. Sky, Clubhouse, notorious for how defender-sided they can be. Consulate, especially though in recent times, Puffo, people have been figuring it out. People have got a lot better strategies coming into Consulate to deal with how problematic of a map it used to be. But I think Skyscraper and Clubhouse still notoriously defender-sided here. So this is going to be a grueling series coming up for us, I think, Puffo.
Give teams a bit of time to work their way around the map, and they're going to be coming back with a grueling strategy. Now, like you said, Consulate has been finding a bit of a smoother edge around the field, and well, that's going to be our map number 1. Now, of course, we have seen the brackets, we've seen the maps, but what are the staff thinking? Who will take it today? I mean, MVG, the previous champions, and in the meanwhile, also having quite a good reputation throughout the entirety of the bracket system, will undoubtedly be successfully rocking that 75% with much granted position, and Entropy with the 25 looking to be the underdog of today.
I'm back at Entropy here, man. We can't have 75% favourites going towards the side of MolotovGang. Obviously, having watched both these teams play in the past, they are very equally matched. They are just as good, equally capable of cooking in this matchup. So the fact that all of our staff here on ESA have gone for MolotovGang is kind of mad. But Entropy Gaming, I know they're the real ones. I know they can cook and turn up on the day. So hopefully Entropy Gaming can prove me right and we get a really, really good matchup, a really good series for here. But what are you hoping to see coming into this series, Buffo?
I really want to read through the same script the caster always does. Oh, we don't want a one-sided match. Oh, we want some action. No! You know what? I want to see Entropy take over MVG. I love MVG. Don't get me wrong. But we can't have the repetitive champion for Season 10. I want them to go to lower bracket. I want one of these teams to come out on top again because these two teams, they've been performing against each other beautifully in the past, although MVG, of course, has majority of the times ended up taking over the other. So, you know, I'm hoping to see that Entropy are going to be able to put up a bit more of a fight than they have in the past track. So, I mean, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping for longevity here. I'm not hoping for the first map to go 7-0, the next one 0-7, and then we see a similar result in the third. I want overtime. Okay, because Bose isn't with us today, and he's with us in spirit.
His memory lives on. He's embedded into ESA here. We can't forget about the lovely Bose Max. He's in spirit in our hearts. He's always going to be with us. But as you said, Puffo, that's what we want from this game. We want it ping-ponging back and forth. Are we in limited OT yet? Are we into Bose Max OT time yet? I don't think we are at this point. No. So it's going to be, you know, just straight 15 rounds decider if we do end up going in OT. And I want to see a couple of OTs. Let's get these OT games going because, as you said, 7-0s are thrilling in themselves, but not as exciting to watch normally unless we see some wacky stuff happening on those 7-0s. I'm with you, Puffo. I want to see some 8-7s, some 8-6s. I want to see it going ping-ponging back and forth. And between how good these guys are, I think that's what we're going to be in store for here in this series.
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to be looking at the last map, which is going to be Clubhouse, which, I mean, it's a staple of Siege in competitive. If you don't know it, what are you doing in competitive? But let's talk a bit more about Skyscraper. We touched on Consulate. Clubhouse, we don't even need to touch upon. We're going to leave it in the void and its corner, whatever you want to consider it. But Skyscraper, Amguns, what are we thinking?
I mean, it's incredibly... The thing that makes it so difficult is the different stages of the attack you have to go through. There's just the way the map has been set up, especially on that top floor, is the attacks are basically mirrors of each other. You have 3 very distinct stages of the round. You have that early entry, generally speaking, on the opposite side of the map. And then you have that fight for the middle part of the round around that highway, shrine, dragon area. And the problem is, it's normally a utility dump. It's a war of attrition in that mid-round to deal with that extension the defense almost always brings. And then you have to hit the site on top of it, right? There's just so many stages and so many problems the defense can throw at you. But both of these teams, by the way, are absolute gunners. Here on ESA, it can be as simple as, I'm going to pick Ash, I'm just going to go crazy and kill everyone. And that can be all you need sometimes to break down what can generally be a very complicated map.
It has worked out. I would say sadly, but in the end, it's really fun to watch. These moments come out every once in a millennia. So, you know what? Gun for it if you can. If it's what works, don't fix what's not broken. And in the end, both these teams, I can only imagine they're starting to get ready. Probably hit up a couple of ranked matches before this, maybe a scrim, because again, this match will decide whoever goes, I do believe, into the upper bracket final.
Upper bracket final indeed. And then that upper bracket final will be leading into the grand final. So for those of you that might be looking at this going, what the hell am I looking at? This is the bracket. It's double elim with 4 teams in it. So the winner of this will go into the upper bracket final to play for a spot in the grand final of the ESA Cup. And then the remaining teams will fight their way through the lower bracket. So you can see LDL is which team, Puffer? Remind me.
LDL and... What are we looking at?
What's LDL's full name? What's LDL's full name?
Linear Defense League, I believe.
LDL Valor. There we go. Gotcha. So they obviously lost their upper bracket semi-final, so they find themselves in the lower bracket. So that's what you see there. So they will be joined by the loser of this game, is how it's going to work. So that's a double elim bracket. You get 2 lives in these playoffs. So this will be the first life, effectively, for the MolotovGang and Entropy Gaming here. If you win this, you still then get 2 chances to make it to that grand final. So this is a big, big game we've got coming up here, Puffo.
It is, and let's talk about big things happening at the current moment because, you know, Reload is happening. Guys, you know, we all love a bit of Reload that's right now showcasing that betting system, if you may. And, you know, give us some opinions, Amguns. What do you think about the Reload event?
Up the keg. We saw Liquid get eliminated today, which you almost never see. It's almost strange saying it, that Liquid somehow have not made it into the playoffs. All I'm going to say is the most exciting format I think we've ever seen. However, it's not exactly the most competitive format we've ever seen. I think it's fair to say there's a couple of different loopholes here and there. The wildcards make things extremely interesting with the extended mag and the other things available. All I'm going to say, I think if you're a Siege fan, it's a great day to be a Siege fan. You've got ESA, you've got Voltage happening elsewhere, you've got Reload as well. There's just so much Siege to enjoy. And hopefully all the people that are watching here have got everything open. They're enjoying all the Siege content there is around. But I think, Puffer, because you've been studying, have you been able to catch much of Reload?
Absolutely nothing. I've been booked right now. My brain's fried. You can clearly already tell, by the way.
It's a good thing you're the play-by-play. You can leave the analysis to me. You can just call it as you see it. But Reload's been great. I'm more excited for Siege X. I'm sure everyone that's watching along with us, they're going to be really excited for Siege X. The game looks beautiful, I have to say. It looks really, really nice. I'm praying the audio has been fixed. I know a lot of people for a long, long time have been complaining that the Siege audio is cooked at every level. So having a rework to that, I'm really, really excited for. So under a month to go, right? Fingers crossed that Siege X is everything I want it to be. That's the main thing for me, Puffer.
I mean, absolutely. Look, they're looking to deliver. Hopefully they do as they said, and hopefully we get what we've been kind of... I'm hoping the expectations aren't too high either. I mean, they can be. I imagine they are, and I'm hoping that Ubisoft will deliver, but we're gonna have to let time tell. And of course, I'm imagining you all have been waiting for a bit for this show match to start. We will be with you in just a moment, but right now we're talking about ESA, or not ESA, I'm mixing this up, you know, but ESA, we're talking about voltage, we're talking about this. Do you really have enough monitors to watch all three at once? Do you have those 3 monitor setups? No. So normally, I would say prioritize ESA, because of course you have your favorite AM guns and Puffo Bob on deck, and then maybe second for reload, pivot at the last, or just make sure that ESA is on your primary right now. Because, I mean, again, this is a fantastic match. This is one you cannot miss. This is literally the definition of a clash of titans in ESA. These are the two more renowned, if not the most renowned teams when it comes down to this type of cup, when it comes down to this league and org in general. And they've been not only performing through seasons, but again, they've been at each other's necks for quite a while. So I'm hoping to see. I'm really hoping to see how it turns out being. And not Amguns, let's return to the previous topic of CJX. You mentioned it. What are you most excited about it?
I just love the way it looks. So as a player that's been involved in Siege for, I don't even admit this on stream, for nearly 9 years now, we used to play a very gritty game. It was very tactical, as people used to say. It was very gritty. It was very, like, sort of realistic, if you like. I just love the aesthetic that we're going back to. The game just looks really gritty. It seems like much more of what Siege was about when I first got into the game. It's sad that we lost T-Hunt, because that was a large part of the kind of lore of Siege and kind of what it was all about, that counter-terrorism unit. But it seems like we're going back to that style where it's a lot more gritty, it's a lot more down to earth, which I really like. And I just get to keep enjoying Siege. If they can live up to their promise of we get to play Siege for the next 10 years, I mean, the game I love, I get to keep playing it, I get to keep enjoying the majors, keep enjoying ESA, of course. I know this is potentially one of the last seasons of ESA that we're going to be having here, but I get to keep enjoying casting with you as well. So it just means that the game I love, we get to keep playing it for hopefully in the next 10 years.
I hope that stacks up. Again, I would say, without a doubt, Rainbow Six Siege is the best shooter out there. There is no competition like it. You can compare stuff like Valorant and TF2, CS2 and Overwatch. But Siege, what will you compare it to? The finals is what gets closest to it, but even that's not an inch of how deep this game goes, with lore-wise, with game-wise, with everything in general. So it's a fantastic bunch. I think everyone here, there's a reason it has such a good and built-up community behind it. Even people trying to enter, while though they might have a rough time, they still nicely persist through and get to that point where they get a bit of an easier time playing Siege alone. And of course, the community is huge. So we love Siege, we love everything around it, and again, if it lasts up to an extra 10 years, hell, even 20, you know, I'll be playing this game in my 90s if it's still popular when I won't be able to walk. That's what we're looking forward to here for Siege, but today, we're still looking forward towards this game, and I mean, CJX, personally, you know, I really do want to go back to that gritty look, where it looked realistic, I would say. It's not as colorish, it's a bit more dark. You feel like you're actually in the aesthetic, but at the same time, I'm wondering how the new ban system is going to come out. I'm really interested in seeing it work out for the competitive scene.
Have you seen how it's been working in Reload? Should I go through it quickly to
please
how it works? Gotcha. So for those of you that aren't aware, you know, in under a month's time, the way competitive bans is going to be changing completely. With the amount of operators we have in the game at the moment, I think it's very reasonable that we need some additional bans. So the way it's going to work is you still ban 2 operators at the start of the game. So, but the way it's changed is instead of banning an attacker and a defender, you get to ban 2 attackers if you're on the defense. You get to ban 2 defenders if you're on the attack. And then what happens is a quarter of the way through the game, so after round 3, you get an additional ban. So again, if you're on the attack, you get to ban an additional defender, and on the attack, you get to ban an additional defender. And if you're on the defense, you get to ban an additional attacker. There we go. Got there eventually. There's a lot of changes coming, and it just means there's a lot more bans. And the most interesting part I think about it, Puffo, is at the halfway point, the bans then reset. Ooh. So when the defense switches to the attack, that attacking side then gets to ban 2 new attackers, with an additional ban coming in round 9. And then the defense gets the same thing. So it's really interesting how that works out.
That's going to be good because, again, I feel like Siege, a lot of people have also proposed that Siege should add a bit of a, especially for competitive, high-end competitive too, that at the half match point, there should be a bit of a timeout for the teams to talk it through with their coach and stuff like that. I feel like there should be a lot more depth in how teams have the time and the space to adapt to the enemy team. Again, you're going in here, you're banning out 2 operators on each side, and then you have to stick with it. The enemy team can have a strategy that completely destroys your lineup and whatever you're left with. But this time around, you're going to be able to adapt. It's going to be really switching up how these rounds tend to play out. But again, it's all with due diligence. It's all with time. We're just going to have to see how it all works out. And of course, teams are probably going to be at the very start looking for loopholes, maybe trying to break it a bit. And then in the end, once it all gets nicely polished, we're going to be having ourselves just about as great competition, if not even better, than we do currently. And of course, I mean, it's Rainbow Six Siege. Who doesn't love Rainbow Six Siege?
Yeah, you can't go wrong when there's Siege on the telly, man. When there's stuff to watch, when there's Siege to enjoy. I know a lot of people, it's weird. Like now that I'm getting busier with my day-to-day, it's just great having so much content available to watch. ESA's regularly got games to watch from the console scene, so we get to see these guys cook on the sticks. I know all the Jinxie fans will be happy as well that there's a competitive format from the console side of things, which is great. So everybody from the EU, even if you're on console, you get a nice production, you get nice games to watch. So we are going to send it to a break, unfortunately. We're going to try and get this game underway for you guys. So let's jump to a break, and as soon as we get this game going for you, we'll be right back.
We do apologize for a bit of delay. Yes, we did not intend for it to happen, but we're here, that's what matters most. And well, for a bit of background, why there is 1 round for MVG and 0 for Entropy, is that while people and teams have been taking their times, MVG have ended up taking a round due to this delay, and in the meanwhile, Entropy, one of their players, is currently having internet issues that just can't be fixed, so they will have to suffice with a 4v5, but it's still me, Puffabob, it's still Amguns, and Amguns, as beautiful as you are, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Now that the game is underway, I think we should mention it before we get any further. It's going to be Dokkaebi, Vigil, Blackbeard, and Mira going to be the operators banned out in this game. It's kind of crazy that Entropy have gone all Boss G bans. This is something we've seen very commonly on the console scene. So no Boss Gs being allowed into this lobby, Puffo.
Honestly, I would have loved to see some boomstick, but what can you do? Beggars can't be choosers. None of these teams want to see that on deck. And currently, the other ones, Blackbeard and Mira. I think that's going to be more than reasonable. But currently, let's take a look at what we have on the lineup side, Amguns.
Yeah, and I'm really looking to see a little Pogmat kill coming in clutch for the side of MVG, as it's going to be an admin side over coming in here from MVG. But it's a pretty normal lineup, I think, from MVG coming in from this top floor. A lot of these operators you commonly see used, Goyo especially, he just provides so much time waste and so much ability to burn the clock down for the defense. So nothing really out of the ordinary coming in from MVG here.
And let's just hope Entropy isn't going to be acting as a bear just to step right into the trap of ANA here. And currently, 1 minute has already passed us by. Time is a really scary thing, and it's going by quickly, looking to be a bit of an admin push. And currently, Entropy, this is already a 4v5. If you can get this opening kill, it might still be possible.
And that's what really what I want to see. Get aggressive, get this opening kill in your favor, but it's not going to happen as Frost is going to take 1, and now you're in a bit of a 2-man deficit. It's looking tough, Puffer.
Oh, that will not be good. Kicking a man while he's down. MVG will be finding their opening kill, but in the meanwhile, that's going to be a 3v5. Like you mentioned, already 2 on the deficit of the man count, and Entropy are going to be looking a bit more dire as another to fall. A second for Variox, and the secondary absolutely popping off as MVG are going to be leaving the last man to stand. What are we going to be thinking? The F2 can definitely deliver some damage, but 50% on that HP will definitely not be serving you good. The final few are feeling a bit cheeky, trying to push up, so they do. The gun is spotted. The dog is shot out mid-air. Revealed that MP5, a bit of the scope action, but now they know you're cornered. You're gonna be peaked. You're gonna find that 1, maybe 2, but overwhelming when it comes down to count. And Entropy are just looking to finish what they started. Fantastic beginning. And well, I can say no less than this is the round going for MVG.
MVG just don't need to swing, okay? I know it's a 3v1, there's 50 seconds to go, you just don't need to be aggressive. You've already fed 2 kills to this guy, just please play the site.
Ooh. What are we thinking, Tom? We're trying to peek it. Again, play off of the cheekiness, the greed that MVG is putting out. The pistol is there, but it cannot finish the job that just simply can. The 12 gauge right in your face. And the second round for MolotovGang.
And really what I want to see from Entropy is try and isolate a 1v1 as a squad. The Entropies have done a great job of being cohesive in the past, and I want to see them work for this frag. I want to see them work together to try and isolate one of these maybe aggressive, too aggressive MVG players. MVG you saw were playing very, very aggressive on that admin extension. If Entropy can just isolate one of those players, they'll be having a really good way of finding themselves back into this game, or try and bait the aggression. There's two ways to sort of deal with the problem that you're facing, and that's you have to adjust to what the defense are giving to you. MVG coming out swinging, it's worked out really, really well for them, but that's what Entropy, they need to try and feed off that aggression and try and use it to their advantage.
Right now, MVG here are going to be going down to the bottom floor. They've been handed 2 rounds, which on defense is going to be more than reasonable, but that leaves less space for Entropy to start backing up their own fight. And looking at the lineup here, we're having a lot of switches, aren't we, Amguns?
We do indeed. We got a lot of little reworks coming in from the side of Entropy, as I think they've identified a little bit of a weakness, bringing the shield as well, which I love to see. Blitz can just be an absolute nightmare for defenses to deal with, and I think that's really going to help with the aggression as well. You can get right up into the face of the remaining defenders, put a lot of pressure on them, and that could be exactly what they need to get some rounds on the board here, Popo.
Up until now, as MVG have been constantly peeking and getting away with it, Entropy have not been showing the same result. Now, it's one thing to have already one player off, but it's the second when you try to kind of switch up that fragmentative potential with a Blitz. Now, the Blitz can definitely deal some damage, right? But I wouldn't say he has that primary weapon that can easily take players out on sight, and you go for the reload, you have 1 bullet, he's going for the secondary, and Rise takes away with 1 life onto Madaria.
Rise has got to count as lucky stars here. You can't be walking through the map mid-reload, especially when you know somebody's right around the corner, but Ash does make it work as they even up the man count, which is great to see. The thing I'm really interested though is to how this Echo is going to play out in the later parts of the round. With this full map clear coming in from Entropy, there's going to be not a lot of time for that execute when they do make their way down to basement, and that's where that Echo can really shine in those later parts of the round.
Picking up the demos will be interesting, rather the Jackal for a bit more of a diversity, and that's what I'm talking about. ESA simply goes for the swing, wins out the gunfight with the shotgun intact, and finds that SMG-11 pop, and meanwhile will be leaving down Entropy back to a similar score of having 1 player under the MVG score.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Entropy, that work, they did such a good job of finding that entry, but it snatched away from them as Solus just being aggressive, punishing Entropy here as the mid-floor take still continues. The thing I'm a little bit disappointed with from Entropy is, although they are going for this top-down clear, they haven't brought any verticality. They've got the Jackal shotgun in pocket, but this is where they've only operators left are basically to brute force their way through this defense.
Oh no, Isan, don't you dare think about it. The Blitz is going to be putting a bit more of that danger factor into your feet to have him shivel on the spot. Now, verticality there to make you think about your consequences and actions. And in the meanwhile, Entropy still looking to pick up that diffuser that's right on the outside. Jackal will be approaching, pistol on that long. Definitely won't be the best, but the head isn't found just yet. And now Entropy have regained what they lost, the case.
And Blitz is just doing his best to distract as much as he can, just jiggling in this bottom area. But he's got 2 shotguns, a little crossfire to deal with, so not an ideal situation for Entropy Gaming.
Absolutely not. The pink's coming out, and while the Blitz has been distracting, it's allowed a bit of an easy entry here for the remaining players on this attack. The Jackal, specifically the Ash on the back, but it's a one-dimensional push. You really can't find it. You may have a bit of that information, but when it comes up to close-range gunfights, you're going to be losing sight. The Blitz there with the Flash going to be finding huge opportunity. The Solus does manage to back off, and the support from the teammates will be absolutely horrendous as Isan finds one that will be a fantastic pump-up, but now need to finish out the job with the extra 2 standing, and he's getting cheeky with it. He's getting jiggy. He downs, falls to the hands of none other than the Jackal Afla, finding him on the grave almost, but not finishing the job as Variox peeks and finds himself that double trouble.
Entropy, they try to make it work though. They really did, and it's really clever stuff, although the situation wasn't in their favor. It's good use from the Jackal to try and cut that crossfire in half. They managed to get the Blitz into security, but MVG's number advantage just too strong. You had the Solus shotgun and the Echo ACOG to deal with inside of security, and unfortunately it doesn't matter how good you are, not even Shaiko can do 2 gunfights at the same time. So MVG doing a really good job of keeping the numbers game in their favor and making use of it as well, making it difficult for Entropy to isolate these 1v1s and playing their crossfires as they should. So really good work from MVG to get a second round on the board.
And to emphasize on the roam, MVG are going to be picking not only Solus, Valkyrie for the information, Legion to touch up on Spice, and in the end, Variox with none other. Oh, then tell me about it, Amguns. We're seeing the same one, right?
We are seeing the same one. What are we seeing?
Scopos.
We're seeing a lot of crazy. We're seeing a lot of crazy. We're seeing a lot of crazy in this lineup. We've got Scopos. He can be amazing on the roam game, but we've got an Amaru on the attack as well with a blitz. So Entropy Gaming, I like the fact that they're bringing a bit of an aggressive lineup here as well to meet the aggression of MVG. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing here, Puffo.
I'm really liking it. I mean, this is going to be no sour taste as long as Entropy managed to pull it off. Right now, they're being playing a bit too passive. Managed to get off with 1 kill at the very bottom. Now they're going to be full on sending in a Dimaro. I believe that's going to be a bit too close for it. Trying to take over this top floor with it being admin, but Variox right around the corner. You go on your drone and your COD lacking. Variox with the opening, and Entropy, it leaves you down with 3 players.
Yeah, not a great start for inside Entropy as the Amaru, which is always a gamble, but that's going to be another man falling as well. That's all left down to Ram to duel these engagements.
Oh, and all that's left. Spiral Stairs, maybe the Blitz able to 1v5 it, but that's a doubt more than it. Currently, this R4C is going to be your way to heaven. And Variox taking some damage, but this is what MVG are known for. They peek, they shoot, they claim, they kill. But they can also get killed. They're not invincible, and just proved that, as currently a second pre-fire was good, but the HP could not back it off, as all of a sudden the Blitz is going to be going down for a plant. We do see smokes to help out, but of course, a bit too much information from the Solus, although it has been committed. But in a 1v4 situation, I mean, what are you honestly to do? You are completely surrounded, and MVG their 4th round in a row.
Yeah, it's just they took a bit of a gamble going fast into that top floor, but MVG all too wise to it. It's really cool that Blitz somehow sneaking his way into sight, the smiley face on the wall as well. You can see that the MolotovGang are having a bit of fun with it, but unfortunately for Entropy, they went for a bit of a gamble on that aggressive lineup, but not being able to work out for them in that round. As you can see, great use of the Scopos to hold on to this admin side. So MVG just rolling with it, getting round after round on the board, and it'd be really nice if Entropy can just get a round on the board, try and get some momentum in this game.
Now, of course, if anyone has come in new to chat or watch this match, the reason it's a 4v5 is because one of the players from Entropy has connectivity issues when it comes down to Wi-Fi, internet, his server, whatever it may be, and in the end, there was a bit too much of a delay. They could either give up free rounds to MVG, or they could 4v5 it. And in the end, this is currently what we're rocking with. And again, we have seen the Amaru not go in the favor of Entropy just before, and Vasi seems to really like the operator, so I'm wondering where the entry is going to be this time around.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, as it looks like Entropy game, I like the fact they're still being aggressive. The thing we can give Entropy a lot of credit for is they haven't just written off the game. They're still trying to be aggressive, they're still trying to get rounds on the board. And the other thing to mention, Papa Bob, is we spoke about it earlier, it's a pretty defensive-sided map as well. If MVG, they've been doing a great job of making use of that defensive side, but if Entropy can just grab 1 or 2 rounds on their attack, they then get the defense, which they can make a massive comeback on. We've seen it before. These 5-1 splits can very easily go 7-5 on a map like Consulate.
It's more than plenty, right? So hopefully Entropy are going to make the least of what they can, that bare minimum, maybe the 1 round, just so they constantly don't have to face match point with each one going into the defense. And even a 4v5, meaning a single slip-up, which could possibly be leading to a 3v5 situation more earlier than expected. In the end, going to be revealing your position, but at the same time, I'd rather more trying to put on that aggressive front. ESA knows more than he should about that Claymore, so he's simply just going to be applying some pressure to the wound, and of course, notifying Entropy that, hey, possibly I could run out of here.
Yeah, he's just looking to put a little ghost pressure, but he's got the Amaru shotgun round the corner, so it's going to be shotgun v shotgun in mano a mano with the shotguns as these guys face off next to each other. As Entropy this time around, they've just been a lot more calculated in the way they want to go about this, setting up for this CO execute. They understand they need to clear this player below, otherwise Solus will just be able to deny the plant, so they need to deal with this player down in piano, and this could be that like team fight that they're looking for against the Solus.
Oh, but it's just not looking good. Variox has already found himself one lone man, and that of all characters will possibly be the worst decision to give up here for Entropy. It will be the Grim. Now taking shots, your footsies are getting exposed. You're right now 1 bullet away from certain death. You try to run it away, but you cannot outrun a bullet, nor can you outrun Isan with that shotgun up close, who has been quick on the move, learning to get as close to you as possible before you can even escape your fate, and 2 players for Entropy.
And unfortunately, Entropy's calculated plan just didn't really work out for them. They weren't able to get a footing in on that ground floor to be able to take care of the Solus. So I think taking a bit of a mini-tack timeout, just trying to consolidate themselves, get themselves together so they can try and get at least one attack on the board to give them some momentum, I think, Buffo, to get them into their defense.
Ooh, what are we thinking, MVG? Just trying to drop players? Maybe some nice finishing kills are definitely a lot more to be expected. Wait. What did this happen? Oh, MVG! This is a circus. This is a clown show, but we love to see it. A drop from Just. He doesn't know where he is. A second run out there just to take out the Climber, but Rise is simply sticking around trying to find out, play in this advantage of greediness, and rightfully punish the sinners here. Entropy. But it's still a 1-3, and it's still very low when it comes down, as long as MVG stick it.
Farm the KD, man. Get your exit frags. Get those stats up. They're giving him these fights, so if you should be able to pack the KD a little bit, but the one tap or the quick peek coming in from the Frost is going to end off our 5th round here. So really well played from MolotovGang to do the best of an advantageous situation. So not a great half so far for Entropy, unfortunately.
No, let's be honest. I mean, one player being not even able to compete in the match is more than a downside. Siege is all about teamwork. Now, can we just type W in chat or appreciate the beautiful craftsmanship when it comes down to production here? The slow motion on Just looking around, just seeming to be that lost toddler in Walmart who can't find his parents, trying to find this 12 gauge to connect onto anybody, but he's looking in the wrong direction. Just chef's kiss of work.
His spidey senses were not cooking there. He full sent it out that window, sent it with his chest, just got caught slacking the wrong way. I think they're just having a bit of fun with it because they know they had the man count in their favour. But this is where, as I said, Entropy, they just need one round. And I like what I'm seeing from the side of Entropy. This Mav Glaz strat could be that wacky strat they need to try and steal around away from the side of MVG.
Maybe. That's what gets it to him. Fine. But MVG are right now playing not only a bit of that mix, but look at the operators of Rocket. I mean, the Izami, the Valkyrie, the Cade, the Echo. It's all stuck up, nicely shelled into sight. It allows you to reconstruct this entire part into your own little maze, while the Solus can just go off roaming, and Isan can pick up a kill too. He can do as he pleases.
One thing to notice is, although Entropy, not been having to find any success so far, maybe a little target ban coming out onto Isan here. He's only been playing Solus. I think he's very, very comfortable on this operator. As the Mav Glaz tech, we're going to see it in full effect as you can still do the strat without taking any damage. So interesting that Mavs decided to bear hug the electrified wall as he makes this line of sight for his Glaz.
Gotta be quick on the job, but it doesn't matter. MVG just don't seem to be picking. Right now, as long as they don't get themselves some sort of reassurance that if one of their players dies due to greedy kills or trying to find themselves at KD up, that right now, they don't need to peek. They know the situation, the shot got up close, Tom just tries to run in, find himself maybe a lucky opening or an element of surprise to counter out MVG, but it backfires, and Entropy are now without their Maverick.
They are indeed, as the situation goes bad to worse, as Rise is going to fall as well to Verox. As they will get one back though, as Verox is going to get punished for over-peaking. They'll find a second as well here, Puffo.
Yes, they will. The nade, they're trying to finish the job. I believe it's going to be connecting in a beautiful shot from Vasi prior to it, making sure it's going to be an equal fight with that HP on the sledge. Nor the Glaz are going to be looking confident. A single bullet from the TCSG, maybe even Echo's SMG is going to be more than enough to finish that final blow. At MVG here, they can play it safe because the information they have is phenomenal.
Yeah, the Echo drones, this is where they're going to come into their own with a minute and a half block. There's just so much information available for MVG here. Bulletproof cams, Echo cams, obviously 3 teammates down. They can hold all the cameras on these key choke points to feed their alive teammates that information on where the attack's going to be coming from.
There we go, the information there. Afla, you're gonna need to fight a losing battle now. It isn't the race being ran just yet. This Glaz can definitely deal some fatal damage, but once you drop, it's down to 1v2 for your comrade. Does find those elbow shots, but they're not gonna be nowhere close to be able to take out whatever remains of MVG. Now it's gonna be Remnant for Entropy to try and carry it on through the last round of the first split, and all you're just waiting is, where will they peak from? This aggression that MVG have been showing has completely changed the route of Entropy's course. They're constantly waiting to get peaked, but MVG, they switch the playstyle, they're being a bit more passive, and you run into that TCSG. It's beautiful teamwork, craftsmanship, and a flawless first half.
Yeah, I really like the tech though from the Glaz, trying to bait the swing I don't know if you could ever do this on console. Like if you, or sorry, on PC, if you have the, like with the WS key, like he's trying to bait the sound to get this player to swing. So it's really cool tech coming out from him, as he's probably flicking up and down on his left stick to try and bait that audio to try and get a swing out of MVG. But unfortunately for him, MVG had the discipline, stayed tight to their positions until it was in their advantage to swing. So a flawless half coming in from MVG here. But as I said, Entropy on the defense, this is their chance to cook and get some rounds on the board, even though they are in a 4v5 disadvantage.
Even if they are. Now, on the defense, maybe they stand a bit more of a chance. Not a bit more, actually. Let's consider this being consulate. They stand a lot more of a chance going up against MVG, but it all depends on this 4v5. Again, they lose out on the opening pick, and the advantage is so great that at certain points it becomes a bit overwhelming and even more difficult to play against unless you can really tightly hold those close angles with shotguns and just win most of the outcomes. MVG here now just play a safe game. They can do as they wish. 5 rounds, 6 rounds in a row. They can lose if they want to, and I doubt that's going to be happening.
Yeah, this is MVG's to lose. It is MVG's to lose indeed, but that doesn't mean Entropy are out of it yet. And where this game can turn on its head is if Entropy just get a little bit of momentum. When you build a couple of rounds, and you build 3 rounds, and you build 4 rounds, or you get a spawn peak, it can completely shift the momentum in your favour, as Goyo looking to get very aggressive here on the bottom of yellow.
Come on, Entropy, it hasn't been the best run yet, we understand that, but let's get into that groove of things. The C4, nicely aligned, definitely can find one if repelled at the current position. Chucked, does it find the value? No, because the repel went down a bit below it, and MVG still get to keep the Rash for now, but that's only for now, and again, the attackers do need to find some sort of space to enter.
And this is where Entropy, they can just sit back and relax. They've put some early pressure on the attack with the C4s, which has wasted at least a minute of the round so far. And this is where they can just wait for MVG to come to them. They can now fight on their terms instead of having to force engagements.
And there comes Tom, swinging off nicely, and all of a sudden Varax has found himself a kill with the Twitch drones, a volley utility, bingo board checked off, and that's a beautiful one for the count. But in the meanwhile, Entropy are looking to get a bit more feisty. They've lost one player, but they had the opening, meaning they can definitely still get back on that equality. Now looking to split it up. One speaking long, and that's a headshot for Rise. Read him like a book, 12 steps ahead, and a 3v3 for both.
This is a brilliant piece of aggression from Rise. He knows he's down the man count again. He needs to get aggressive, and he's been rewarded for that amazing decision making. As admin control now established for MVG, they can now start to look at the key positions they need to clear to look to get that defeater down.
Pre-fire here, looking to catch someone lacking, but that's just not going to be happening yet. This kill is going to be a great caveat. The shotgun revealing one of these players might be hiding in close, but you just can't confirm it. As looking to push through, the Ash UR, one behind, and that's a shot to the back. But returned by Rise, who has been on his A-game currently, crushes him under the pile of bullets coming through the wall, not even to recognize that they're soft on the right. But a 2v2 again, 1 minute to stand. The attackers need to make a move, and Varrock certainly does. Rise does too, and looking to make it a quad. This SMG-12 has been thriving off on the kill feed. Not a single victim to spare, no mercy. The bullets there reveal, you find, can't connect, a bit of damage, none to return to the Twitch as the case is picked up, and now nicely rotating back to B, just to be claimed. Are we going to be faking it? The shot got up close, oh, it's a deadly one, but we're playing against one of the potentially best weapons in the game. Long range, what's that damage? Absolutely phenomenal, nicely to get it back on even ground. And this SMG-12, oh, it's sprinting, oh, it's running, looking to get it right around that head hole, but Rax has already made a bit of a larger approach. You find him, and that's a single bullet from Rise. He noticed him, that's pixel perfect, and now MVG will be taking a flawless map #1.
I mean, what a shot with the SMG-12. I was like, where is this guy going? I don't think he had the exact audio, or he must have had the exact audio because his game sense is beautiful to hit that shot through the pixel with the SMG-12, as he's going to savor the moment. 6 rounds down, he's going to make sure to enjoy every second of this round in a lovely clutch. Maybe trying to empty all the bullets that he's got just to stick it to MVG here that they get a round on the board. But unfortunately for Entropy, there's a long way to go if they want to claim this first map, which is Consulate.
Well, that will be a fantastic performance here from Rise. I mean, come on, that was just astounding from Rise. He came out swinging, he got most of the picks, even majority of them you could call. The team was completely wired by the single gun, the SMG-12, to get it correct, and of course, the tank, they stood no chance. Of course, fantastic to see Entropy, that's their first round, but don't rely on a single player to carry it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rise is the only one cooking right now for the side of Entropy. He's the only one going positive. So if he can try and inspire the rest of his team just to get a little bit more active, try and work together, then they could find themselves getting 3 rounds back to back to get themselves into this game. The other thing I want to give Entropy credit for is their use of utilities to try and even up the man count. They're using the C4s, they're playing for the runouts. They understand they have to do something about the situation they found themselves in, so I love the fact they're being proactive and trying to find ways to deal with that and keep themselves in this game. Remember, this is the upper bracket semi, so even if they do lose the series, they've got another chance through the lower bracket to get themselves into that grand final. But it doesn't seem like they've given up. That's stunning. Their mentality is in a good place, and they're still fighting for that upper bracket final place.
5 seconds remaining.
Absolutely. And although that was 1 round loss for MVG, in the end, they still have 5 of those, and it ended up being quite damn close. So Entropy, what are we going to be switching up? Of course, like you mentioned, the information here, not only to combo up with the C4s that could be switching up you needing to go in a gunfight and rather just blowing your way through the competition, but also Rise's Fenrir. That is a gadget that just allows you to get easy 1v1s, and in the end, he was the major kill leader in the previous round.
It seems like they've got info on the Mozzie as well. There's a lot of yellow pings coming out onto this player, and Entropy, if they're not careful, might find themselves getting pinched here, as it isn't beyond the Mozzie trying to waste some time on this middle floor to deny that verticality that MVG are going to be trying to use.
Pushing through top, ESA already on that demo was a switch up from Entropy's Jackal we witnessed earlier, and already looking to make a quick downside, but oh, that was close. That was dangerously close. ESA gets to keep his life, but a single bullet and it's going to be ended. The death mark trying to fight back against it, but it's getting a bit dangerous, and verticality will need to be pursued, as the first one to lose his life will be Afla to the hands of Materia.
Yeah, this is a really nice pinch coming in from MVG, using the Deimos to great effect, being able to hunt this single roamer down. I think I can understand why you're going for that little bit of a roam game, try and design this vertical gameplay, but if that's your plan, I think you have to roam together. You have to live or die by that hold of the verticality. So unfortunately for Entropy, with only a minute 20 wasted, and the ram now and the buck being able to tear up this floor, it's going to start to get really hot in the site with no doubt pressure that MVG can put on the site itself.
Especially with the breach. With the breach coming out in any second, Vasi will need to step up his game, and Materia, the first kill leader, the first one to drop blood, will also have his blood dropped. And currently, with just a bit of a tick over that 1 minute mark, the breach is going to be out. Big boons and holes, new openings here for the side of the attack. And while Entropy, while they have gotten 1 more kill, they still need another to regain some sort of possession.
And Thermite, just getting these breaches open, they should be able to go for that default plant on the chassis. There's only one not even a C4 left for Entropy, so it's been extremely difficult to deny this plant. Look how far back Entropy have been pushed due to this vertical gameplay. Buck now here on yellow as well. They should have everything they need to get this diffuser down.
Yes, and without a doubt, MVG are no one-trick pony, just as there. As long as Isan also has to say about it from the hatch, raining hell above, and Entropy going to be losing the last one to be left. The Legion here. Tom, what are we to do? Fight against all these odds. You're already losing HP. You're low on it. A single bullet there. You do get it down, which will be a fantastic beginning, but it's only a start at that. Need to still find that execution. Maybe 3 more players. It doesn't sound that easy now, does it? No, because it is not. Flashes all around. Utility. Everyone's stacking up against you. You're flashed, and amidst all of this chaos, they're holding you in sight. You have no information on them. That information from the Valkyrie has been ridiculed by the IQ, and currently with a post-plant situation, Entropy are looking to make something out of nothing, but you've left it down to 1 player, and while the Rise could have done it, it simply won't be done again. Lightning doesn't strike, but Ryan simply does, and MolotovGang are going to be winning this one out 7-1.
And unfortunately for the side of Entropy, it's a situation you tried to make the best of, but MVG have capitalized well and will be claiming the first map here. Not much to say about it. I think Puffer, just MolotovGang did what they needed to, just took it round by round, and they're going to be claiming the first map here on Consulate.
I mean, they play it into their advantage, right? Go for the normal procedure. If you can play into that aggression that isn't expected by the enemy team, find a 3v5 as soon as you can. And then they just work themselves off of it, which was, I mean, of course, to be expected. A 4v5 is not to be fair, but what can we do about it? Well, let me tell you what we can do. We can go into the next match, but right before we do, take a bit of a break, a bit of a chill pill, get something to drink, just something to snack on, as we're hoping to have a bit more of a long match upcoming onto the next one. This top floor with it being admin, but Verizon. Map 1 was over. That was consulate for your eyes. Maybe not the best that 0 or rather 1 and 7 end up being. A bit of a Brazil to see for the first one, but it's still me, Puff Bob. It's still Amguns, and I think we're going to be expecting some changes this time around.
Yeah, at least we're going to have hopefully a much more exciting game coming up for you guys for our second map of the day in this upper bracket semi-final. We are going to be going to Skyscraper next. Not a map you see very often, as we spoke about in the pre-game show. Extremely defender-sided a lot of the time, but this is where Entropy, they're going to be looking to make their comeback in this series, look to make their mark in this game, and send us to a map 3, which will be Clubhouse. So we've got Clubhouse to be our decider if we do get that far, and I'm really hoping Entropy can come back with a bit of a vengeance here in the second map.
Absolutely, and well, previous time we didn't really have the time to talk about operator bans, so let's have a bit of a prediction round here, Amguns. Before we get into it, what are we thinking when it comes down to the bans of the operators on none other than Skyscraper?
Considering Entropy banned out the Boss G operators last time around, I think we're going to see something very similar coming in from Entropy. They really don't like the Boss G. MolotovGang came out with the Blackbeard, and rightly so. I've got a real bone to pick here, Puffo. I don't think Blackbeard is worth the ban, okay? I really don't. He can be effective if you play around him, but I don't think he's the Baba Yaga that people make him out to be. I really just don't think he's that good, to be honest.
So you're just saying people overrate him? And because
Exactly.
when he came out, people overrated him, and that's kind of like continued as tradition throughout competitive. I could agree with that. I could definitely agree with that. I think like Blackbeard's time has passed. Yes, he used to be scary. He still is, don't get us wrong, but there's ways around him. People should adapt. People already have, and of course, while though he still is, in my opinion, one of those worthy bans, at times, there are a lot better bands you can go with, and well, while we speak of them, the two bands that we're going to be seeing is not Blackbeard as the shield pick, but it's going to be the Monty and Blitz duo.
Yeah, these two shield operators are just annoying as the Blackbeard. I think shield's in a really interesting place right now. Yeah. They can be extremely effective in the right situations, but Entropy breaking the cycle of their normal bans, going for the Blitz this time around.
And well, if two shields weren't enough, if the attackers being already gone with two, let's make it a third and get rid of the Clash, shall we? Because Clash is honestly annoying. I feel like Skyscraper, maps like Skyscraper Consulate, even Bank really fit the Clash playstyle because you simply just deny like one-sided entries, which Skyscraper mostly tends to go off of two if you don't count the breach. And, you know, with people going these long paths to reach the destination of an execute, a Clash can be quite troublesome.
And I think the Clash ban is even more warranted because I think MolotovGang have done their homework. I've seen Entropy bring a Clash before on Skyscraper. It's actually quite a common strat here on ESA, that on a very defender-sided map, you double up with the Clash too, because of the chokeholds that the map naturally presents to the defense. So I think Clash being banned out here makes a lot of sense. Mirror as well. The good thing to mention is Cade's still been left open as well. Cade and Tabaro both available in this game, but it seems like the defense is not opting to use that combination to kick things off for us here on Karaoke and Tea Room.
I guess for now, a Bandit and Mute will suffice, mostly because of the outside wall to Geisha and that main wall on A being the major part of it. On the other side, on Offices and Exhibition, I am expecting at least a Cade, if not even a Tubara alongside him, but we're going to have to wait and see until we get there. Besides that, I mean, let's take a look at what we currently have on the attackers, as we're going to be seeing one of the operators that I personally love, I think is also at times underused, and I mean, of course, I mean the Nook.
Yeah, Nook is, she got buffed in recent times, remember, right? You only use up her ability when she's moving. So with that change being made, or moving very slowly, I think you still get the buff. So using, as we talk about it, she's not on the roster anymore for MVG. So caster cursing it there a little bit, Puffer. But the attacking lineup as a whole, I think, very well equipped to deal with the defense that Entropy are bringing towards this office side.
And of course, a bit of a switch of pace here. MVG are already going to be bringing out the Dokkaebi as she has not banned this time around, but not with the Baji. No, simply sticking to that MK14, which definitely is a gun to be scared of. A fierce one, to say the least. And currently, well, Entropy, they don't know what's about to happen, but MVG, as you spoke of it, M-Guns, this is a map where you tend to approach the site from the opposite direction of the map.
It is exactly that, and I love the way MVG are going about it. Start in the bottom part of this opposite side, at least get yourselves into the building and get some initial control into the map itself, which is really nice. They got the office wall open, dealt with those bandit batteries well, to give themselves just a little bit of a footing and open up some angles towards this extension.
Absolutely. And well, we already have Tom on the roam looking to deny any push-up rise as well to join along him. And just like we saw in Consulate, extensions are need to be made, but not of the strategy, rather the players to challenge and to lose some lives. Tom and Dokkaebi both going to be low on HP, but Tom predicted it. He read, and that strategy at its finest. A second one to fall. MVG already back on the lead, and Entropy facing some casualties.
They are indeed, as this has been met really well by MVG, dealing with this office extension, using that early control we spoke about. A couple of gunfights there going away. It's unfortunate that Dokkaebi, one of her calls, will be laid to waste as the C4 early taking her down. But really nice opening control here, Puffo, from MVG.
Absolutely. While though Entropy have been definitely stalling out for a second, MVG still need to make that decent approach. And while though the bullets are going to be revealing a bit, you just back off back into sight nicely to not get cornered up and easily. Vasi though is going to be holding drums, which could definitely be going into a minus as any second now. You're going to get essentially cornered up and nicely sandwiched as MVG have slowly started taking over ground. But here comes Afla to change the pace and take out one of MVG's players.
And this is a lovely trade back by Entropy. This is something they did so well in the first game, but Vasi's going to fall as I say that. Getting overextended, but the trade comes in from the dock as it's all popping off here, Puffo.
Oh, Bankers, you can never underestimate this player. You get him on that dock at MV5 and he's going to be raining absolute hellfire upon MVG as they've been dealt quite a lot. Now, 30 seconds here, the attackers, maybe they can go for that Selma breach at max. Even if they can't, they can still try and run and gun it, but they don't have the sufficient information. They're trying to gather it by going on that drone, which currently will be their go-to strategy. But time is ticking out. It's a virtue. You can't necessarily have an unlimited amount of it. And right now, this Dockstem is still going to be proving quite useful, getting back on that 100% of HP. Variax trying to push in. The Ace finding any type of comfortability in this 1v1, but simply can't have it around. And Variax steps up to make a change. He gets one. He gets the second. Afla falls, and MVG with the opening round.
This is brilliant game sense from the Maverick. He's just somehow his game sense letting him know where the dock was hiding. They spotted him early and they know they have to make a play. So really good synergy between the Ace and the Mav to time it well. But the round, I think in my opinion, was won and lost in this early part of the round. MVG did a great job of getting themselves into the building and dealing with this office extension with enough time to then hit the site as well. It got a little bit dicey in that mid to late round as the slow motion Poffo on the whiffage on the camera is class. Shout out to our lovely production for that. As with just, low time on the clock, MVG did their best of a bad situation and made it work. So really good stuff coming out from the side of MVG.
Oh, that really was it, wasn't it, MVG? Fantastic start. They get themselves that one kill, but Tom was the one to initially start us off. That C4 was well predicted, but in the end, MVG, I like how their chemistry works. If one player falls, there's going to be someone to nicely go for that refrag, as their position just nicely aligns up throughout the entire map, so one can refrag the other. I love to see it, and I'm hoping that Entropy are going to be looking to maybe repeat or mirror that result, as this is only one round, and M-Guns, correct, this is a bit defender-sided, so Entropy hopefully looking to have a bit of a better continuation.
The thing I want to see from them is just fall off into their utility. As we spoke about earlier, there's three very distinct chambers of the map, if you like. You've got that office VIP side, you've got this middle area where you see the Azami setting up now, building a bit of a fortress for herself. Setting up these one-way angles can be extremely effective at holding this position. So I just want to see Entropy kind of lean into their utility. They don't have to stay extended across the map for the whole round. So they can shoot a couple of drones on this side, just show themselves early, but then fall back to all of that utility they've got stacked up towards the shrine and drum side of the map.
Of course, this map also offers up a lot of flanking potential, which is exactly why we see ESA on that gridlock. But I'm just wondering if anyone's going to be even attempting to go for that flank. We've been seeing a lot of players try to roam up towards the attacker's main focus and entry point, which is exactly what Rise is going to be doing here with finding that MP7 kill onto just the Habana of all players. A fantastic beginning, but like we've seen it before, MVG do tend to really strike back. Oh. Ooh.
Ash just doesn't know.
Oh,
Okay,
no, Tom!
freebie. Absolute freebie coming in for the Goyo as sloppy drone work costing MVG a couple of different entries here. And this is when Entropy doing a great job this time around of making themselves annoying proper.
Yes, but peeking out too much will get you caught in the crossfire. The nade nicely chucked. You caught the hot potato and it burnt in your hand. Tom will be losing his life. But he got away with 2, which was absolutely essential. As MVG just running in and hoping to find any kills, that definitely is not the strategy.
And this is where Entropy are doing exactly what I wanted to see from them. They've stalled out MVG's momentum. They've made it a lot more difficult for MVG to gain control over the map. But the lurk coming in from below here, Puffer, may be able to throw another spanner in the works here.
Gonna keep Variox on the back burner, looking to make his headway upstairs, but Aine, due to unforeseen circumstances, falls to a frost trap, I believe. That is a nasty spot, and I can't lie about it. It's definitely gonna be serving in the favor of Entropy as they're looking to really keep MVG out of the bounds of Dragon, and this is an uncounterable shield. Besides that nade that comes out, a bit of a pre-fire to try and back yourself off into a more comfortable position, and right now Entropy still looking golden.
This is really good utility or usage from MVG, and Variox once again, he's going to be the man, the myth, the guy. He's just him right now, getting the man advantage back to even, as this is the most difficult part. With 30 seconds left to go, how do you force your way into the site itself? They managed it the round before. Can they repeat that success?
Bassie's gonna get cheeky. I can already feel it. I feel like Entropy are gonna be giving up this Azami, but the position that's being currently held will have to soon fall. Isan brings him down, and that's a 2v3. MVG, they can still keep it up, but that HP definitely won't be serving you well. You wish you had those dock stims, A-Day especially, but the fire is burning bright, and MVG are looking to just brute force their way through. A bit of shots to alert Variox where he currently stands. The shot returned from the AK-12, unneeded, but Atlas still falls, and in the end, all down to Rise. And can he make his escape way as he's currently being held at bay? No one entry, no one to allow him to come through, and Isan with a final, an unneeded peek to cost another round for the side of Entropy.
Unfortunately for Entropy, both of their key anchors have overpeaked. They had the fire on the door as well. That would have burnt the whole round away. There would have been any time left for MVG to get that diffuser down. Frost just needed his teammates to stay alive, and unfortunately when you're in a 5v3 man advantage, you can't be giving away cheap kills like this. MVG, you know, they were thrown a bone there in that round and done an amazing job to, you know, to utilize that advantage that was thrown back to them. But unfortunately for Entropy, we need them just to relax and settle into this series. The first few rounds, of course, are always getting a little bit nervous, get those opening nerves out of the way. But Entropy, they can't be giving these rounds away.
An MVG win 2 in a row. Now that's going to be forcing Entropy to maybe switch sides, possibly not feeling the best wavelength when it comes down to that T side. So right now, karaoke, sing it away as much as you currently can, but nicely tone it down, go over to offices, and let's see how that's going to be working in your favor.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out indeed, but I think if you're MVG, you're going to be extremely happy with 2 attacks coming into your first half on Skyscraper. They're doing really, really well right now as they're just responding nicely to what Entropy are giving them. But this is where we are going to see a switch up in the site, and hopefully this time around there's a nice little tech from the Mew here. Open up that wall so they can't use the thermite to open into drum as well, so you get 2 walls for the price of 1. That option is not going to be available to MVG in this round.
No, it will not. Now going outside to place that mute, definitely going to be nice just to not allow those safe drone spots. You can chuck them away, but you're going to need to get close and personal with that jammer to nicely get that information smoothly rolling through. And currently, Entropy, they've been looking close on these defenses. We can definitely give them that it's been a lot more different than on Consulate, but the difference being that you have all 5 players this time around, so make use of it.
I love the use of the Mav here. We're going to not mess around with the bandit trick. We should be able to get this wall open no problemo with the Mav, as that's what Mav allows you to do. He counters all the wall denial single-handedly. So nice operator from him to make sure these walls do get opened early and they get some angles into the site itself.
The approach from MVG, again, opposite side of the map, they completely surround the other half, and right now nicely looking to get themselves into drums, into dragon, overtake, get the breach maybe, by chance, possibly, that's what the Maverick currently stands for, but he won't be standing for much longer if Entropy keep on pushing that aggression through and managing to continue, or even rather finish the job, starting it out, but no, ESA has made his headway onto the kill feed with one of his own Rise being flatlined on the spot, and opening up more opportunities. MVG are opening up the site raw. And there it goes. The R4C strikes again. Vasi doesn't even know about it. Afla finally to shut down one in return, but MVG, they've got themselves a good trade-off.
Yeah, and this is just MVG. Just Entropy's defense just wasn't extended over towards that side, as Entropy are going to find another to even up the man count. This is good though. They are responding to the pressure MVG are applying, as this should be a nice little one-tap coming in. The mag dumps it through the little mouth hole, does the job done as well. Finds a second, a triple on the round for him, as it's all left down to the Flores in the 1v3 Puffo.
Afla, an absolute beast. He kept on persisting, and MVG fell right into his loving arms. He hugged them through and crushed their bones on spot. Entropy, this could be looking like a potential first. If it isn't, honestly, I'll be completely real and honest, I'm going to be disappointed. The diffuser is yours to claim. Nicely, you can hold it. Even just wait out the last player. He possibly can't win a 1v3 situation as long as you play your cards correctly, which is play off of each other. One peeks, the other, or just don't peek in general. You've seen that it goes bad ways when you decide to peek. Although Tom doesn't care, he still goes for it. He knows his time and position, and he gets away with it. Entropy, round number one to their first round to claim.
Yeah, and finally a much better job this time around from Entropy to keep hold of some control. They did lose a couple of bodies early, but again, the re-aggression from them to even up the man count, the Doc especially, that double kill that he found just before this moment. Oh no, this is a double kill indeed. This moment here, just absolutely sealing the deal for his team in that round, as they were leaning much heavier into their utility closer to site, which I love to see. Make it as difficult as possible as you can for MVG when the map suits it as well. There's not a whole lot of creativity needed from the defense. The map just is in your favor.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
MVG, 2 rounds is already somewhat sufficient, I'd say. The fact that they can keep on climbing up, this is their way to go about it. Entropy in the past, or in the past 3 that we've currently been through, have committed mistakes that shouldn't be spotted. I'm hoping that they've been able to adapt and overcome at the current time in this one round that they possibly could have gotten a pace off of, as this is going to be returning back to where we started. This is where MVG won 2 rounds in a row, and will it also be the 3rd on this site?
But this is where Entropy Gaming, these rounds that they lost on this floor, they're not rounds they should have lost, really. So I'm really hoping Entropy, once again, they can have this really... Puffer, you saw it, right? There was that little luck game coming in from the Goyo, and I think that's more than enough to hold on to this off his side. It's in and around that drum and shrine area. I want to see most of the contention come in from the defense.
Absolutely. One player is going to be more than enough to stick it out through. If he feels overpressurized, send him back. Again, this is a side where you fall back to your utility. Maybe play off of it more. You still have the post, you have the Izamis, the Goyos, the mutes. Everything is built around it. But MVG now have not switched up too much besides that Grim, which definitely is going to be handling quite nice in that execution.
I love the little adaptations to put the pulse below. They now don't have to peek the guys on highway if the attack gets that far. But as I say that, he's going to fall extremely early. So that's going to be no pulse available. So really well played from the IQ to counter this operator down below.
MVG prioritizing the correct picks and the favorite characters to get off of their list. Entropy lose out on the worst possible case, not only being rid of that microwave, so no hot buns for you no longer, but that information is going to be a bit more lacative, as MVG have now picked up the first even damage onto the Izami, which I'm imagining the stim is going to come through just about any second, but not for Tom. Same can be said, as you simply cannot revive the dead.
And MVG, they're finding entries left, right, and center as the trade finally comes in from Vasi to give us a 4v3 advantage.
But it's just going downhill, right? Just keeps on coming in from the backside. Everything is left open for MVG to enter in through. It's free real estate, ladies and gentlemen. Trying to peek around head holes just as not anticipated, and he falls to a C4 chucked by Vasi. Go for those pre-fires. That's the best chance you have, Entropy, currently at equalizing at the count. But you should not even be in this position from the beginning. Spotting out one, he spots you back. It's a bit of back and forth action. With a breach on Geisha here, we'll be allowing MVG to nicely flush out Rise in a bit more easy fashion.
And in this 3v2 situation, although there's some shots being fired, MVG using this as a reset point. They've got the advantage. They're going to find a cheeky wallbang onto the dock. He's going to get himself healed up. He was actually down, but Vasi's going to fall as well. That's all down to the 1v3, but Doc's going to fall as well. So MVG absolutely on the money throughout that round, Puffo.
Ka-ching, we're calling it. The piggy bank is overflowing, and MVG get themselves another. Now, I don't exactly get what Entropy are doing here, or what they're doing wrong, rather, so Amguns, take it away.
It's just a case of they're giving up the frags too early. MVG are isolating the 1v1s and making full advantage of the coordinated push. Especially the little IQ. It's just the information game that MVG had. They must have spotted up that pulse on those pre-placed drones that we saw earlier. And it's a great counter pick coming in from the IQ. Her gadget would have given away the pulse, was on his scanner, got into the right position to cut that player off. So MVG, it just seems like they're better prepared for this map. And it just seems like, especially on their attack, it's that coordination between multiple team members that's giving MVG their success. And that's what Entropy need to replicate. Play these crossfires together, buddy up with each other. So that way, if a kill does come in from the side of MVG, you're right there to trade it back. So MVG never get the chance to feel comfortable.
You know, you said one word, crossfire, and Entropy clearly haven't been having enough of it. So, besides the Goyo, we have our lovely Kachanka, the Chanka King himself right now, the Lord coming in to support us out. Instead of that pulse, and also Scopos to be back online. Now, I don't see the real utilization for Entropy Scopos. You can definitely still bring something, maybe like a Doc, maybe like a Legion, something that can bring utility, but at the same time, the roaming job here isn't necessarily operator specific.
The Scopos is great. You don't understand the tech, Puffer. The Scopos is used for the extension onto this side. He's currently actually not even over here, so I lied. But what you can do is, I know, it's correct. They're playing Kirosa. So the idea is you extend over towards the office side, and then if you find you get pinched out or you need to find a quick escape route, you can just bounce right back to site using that drone. You get a full HP reset as well when you bounce back to the site. It just lets you be a little bit more aggressive on that roam game because you know you can teleport out of there whenever you feel the heat being too much onto your position.
Currently Entropy still trying to play this vertical game, but MVG have always taken the same route, same decisions, but a bit more different on the tempo of how fast they tend to push through. And Entropy, how are we going to respond to it? Because currently you're already taking some damage. This breach is going to be a major entry, and MVG are looking to make the most out of it. Some damage, and Rise, he keeps on peeking. He does not learn his lesson, and ESA making an easy entry as this entire site is now infiltrated by MVG, looking to make a push through.
It's not the site, but at least we're getting into the map at least. As Vasi's going to take down a lot of damage, making his way back to the site itself. As MVG just seems so well drilled into how to clear the map here, Puffer.
Absolutely. Vasi going to be low. Will we see a rotation? I doubt it, but playing up close is the best shot you have. As Materia takes his best shot, connects it onto Banks, does it for the same Tom, facing similar consequences, and a one-tap from Aflo. What a fashion show we're currently seeing. A pre-fire not going to be connecting. Maybe that Spetsnaz SMG can definitely pack some heat, but you're still at a disadvantage. You managed to pick up one kill. Vasi, they're going to back you up for a second. A huge drop here, and can we continue it? The C4 almost connecting, but almost won't quite cut it. Looking to push you, look away. See each time he got its finest, and Isan finds, finishes, and just for the final touch, MVG winning away round number 5, and their 4th too.
MVG are cooking, man. Everything they do is a team effort, and I need Entropy to do the same. I really want Entropy to get at least a 4-2 split here on a map like Skyscraper. Maybe here on ESA it's just an attacker-sided map, who knows, as MVG putting on a masterclass right now on how to attack. It's just that coordination. Siege is all about working as a team to achieve the mini goals within the rounds. Every step of the way, MVG are working together to tackle these problems that Entropy are presenting to them, and that's exactly what Siege is all about. They're showing how effective of a unit you can be when your team is firing all cylinders and coordinating with each other. All of these frags coming in from these individual operators are always backed up by a drone or some form of information to let that player have the confidence they need to take these engagements. And unfortunately for Entropy, they just need to find a response to this amazing drone work coming in from MVG.
Now, Entropy will be on the only side they were crowned on last, hoping to have it be a 4-2 split at the bare minimum, and looking to maybe make some chances off of this Vasi play around Dragon yet again. Earlier it was the Doc, now the character to be standing out a bit more will be Rise's Vigil, and even interestingly enough, not spotting out the Bosch G, but rather using the K1A, which, don't get me wrong, is a fantastic gun nonetheless.
I'm not a Boss G fan, Puffer. I'll be real with you. I think the K1A is up there as like top tier weapon on defense.
I'm gonna say I liked Boss G as my favorite gun because it was a meme gun. It's lost that, and you know what? I'll respect the K1A alongside him.
I don't think the nerf to the Boss G was even that bad, you know. It's still one shot up to 15 meters, so you can't like cross-map spawn peek people anymore, which I think is completely fair.
Yeah.
Like when we saw people like literally like, you know, like bazooka cannoning people in spawn with that weapon, it was kind of insane. So, but I think, you know, in the right situations it can be good. I just think it's a lot more reliable to use the K1A. You're not, you know, it's not like a do or die weapon. So I'm with you. I think the K1A is the more safe pick, especially in a competitive game. It's you're risking a lot less. I think it's the clear choice for me to use the K1A.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic run. It's great to see. And in the end, you know, it's even greater to see ESA dealing quintuple damage here to one of the players from Entropy, just giving him a bit of a tease and now looking to make that entry into Dragon. And that was unexpected. Mirage rights right into the guns of Materia, who was expecting him ahead of time. Oh, no.
Not a great start for either of these teams. Rise is going to fall. We're going to find ourselves in a 4v4 situation. But the thing that worries me from Entropy is they don't actually extend into Shrine or into the drum area. I forgot the name there for a second. Holy. They just don't have that little bit of a buffer from the site itself. So MVG just get a lot of map control straight off the bat. And it just lets themselves set up for that execute without really much contention or having to work for it. It just gives them so much more utility when it comes to execute, but they're finding the kills they need, Puffo.
Yeah, the greater losses are coming in slowly, though, as MVG are slowly being shut out of this so-gained advantage in ground they've currently been able to pick up. People still peek at Entropy, definitely not only gaining their ground back, but in the meanwhile, still the player count will be resistant enough to keep MVG at bay, forcing them to push either Dragon or wait for these smoke babes to run out, and time is one thing that you've been stalling now with a bit too much MVG, looking to maybe regret those decisions, but now the consequences are about to kick in, and we can already expect the banks here up close and personal with this SMG-11 is about to be dealing some heavy damage. Just rotate off the drone there to reveal his spot and position. Current location, people vaulting. MVG 2 to offer. Actually 3 rather, as Medaria will be getting his second now. Tom will fall to him, and another run out there just to take him out, but traded nonetheless. Medaria keeps up the pressure and down to a 1v2 spot. After the last one right around it, trying to hold down Samurai. Does get one shot through it, but the exact same spot is where he finds his demise. And MVG, I mean, the score is brutal, Amguns.
Well, the thing I've got to highlight here is Medaria is just him. He's on like back-to-back triple kills coming in from these last 2 rounds. He is finding entry after entry that unfortunately for Entropy is just not getting answered. In this round, it was much better. The man advantage stayed close, but Medaria just finding these kills. We can't keep feeding him. The Entropy just looked, they had the man advantage going into their defense. All they had to do was hold these crossfires on the site itself. But they're offering these gunfights to MolotovGang, and Medaria especially is just finding everybody.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused.
This guy's forced to be reckoned with. Although, ESA has also been very consistent. I mean, we've seen a lot of players today absolutely pop off, but Medaria right now, this is his time to shine. ESA is always the one to be kind of going for those secondary kills. Always. He's the one to pick up these 1 pieces, these 2 pieces at max. He isn't an outshining player in a specific round, but throughout the entirety of this match, he has definitely dealt a heavy blow to Entropy's lineup. And currently, the only thing that's going to be even heavier is Entropy's shoulder burden. They're going to have to burden through, as now they're on the attack, and a 5-1 against MVG, who have definitely been feeling a lot more confident than is to be expected.
And I think if you play MVG, just target ban the Solus. I want to see this guy play something else. He seems to be hard clutching the Solus all the time. You know, a bit of an unorthodox take from me, but I think, you know, if this operator is his comfort zone, you could really target ban him, and that could be what you need to beat MVG here. Do you think that it's worth the ban, Puffo?
I mean, I'm just wondering what a man is without his armor. What is a superhero without his suit of armor? ESA, that's what the Solus serves for him currently, but what would you be your guess? What do you think ESA would play if not the Solus? Maybe an Oryx? Maybe a Vigil?
I have no idea. I've never seen him ever not play the Solus. It's always been available to him, so we'll have to wait and see. But Goyo's been taking a lot of damage early here as Medaria feeling the heat from this pressure as the roam clear comes in, Puffo.
But at times, Entropy just can't get that nice little ledge over the peak, and currently Banks finally does commit to it. Affla taking heavy damage, but it's still not going to be taken off of account just yet, and keeping up that 5-4 advantage. MVG are definitely going to be starting to slowly lose the amount of players they can offer up on this defense side, but not backing off of any fight. Will be leaving you to one player less as Ane falls 2, and now we have 2 players, 1 half foot in the grave, and the Medaria, I mean, maybe he's him, but at this HP standard, he's going to be having rough battles.
Yeah, and this is where Entropy is their time to shine, dealing really well with this extension. And that Blackbeard's going to have a significant importance in it as well, clearing out this utility as they look to clear Shrine here.
They look to clear it out. Now he still peeks. He's looking to challenge Rise, who's right now on that Blackbeard, showing off why he should have possibly been banned, but currently not really able to challenge it, trying to peek drum side. MVG are looking for any opportunity to find themselves a kill, maybe some sort of oppression, something to shut down the push here, but Entropy are just not giving it to them for free. And well, MVG, what are we going to be doing when your site is completely infiltrated?
And this is where the Blackbeard, it's the first time we've seen him. MVG didn't need the Blackbeard at all and still had amazing success on their attack. So it's nice that Entropy have brought the Blackbeard out as a C4 will catch Vasi here. So a nice use of that utility from the defense. They try and claw their way back into this round.
Don't need to go into a risky gunfight, but Affla still takes up the opportunity if he can, especially when he's playing against someone of equal HP to him. A single bullet to deal the final, as if he were holding the boomstick itself, and currently MVG starting to lose out not only on players, but ground as well. You've been completely shut outside of sight itself. Looking to contest drums, you find the head, you saw that shoulder, but you just simply could not connect as it was taken away from you in the very last few seconds. Rotating back barbecue stairs, one of your teammates falls by the back shot, and all of a sudden Banks is the last one to fight against him. Variox, just, what are we going to be doing? You're completely shut out by your own fire that you spread through, and Affla through the flames of it finds his final bullet, and a coup de grace, the second round for Entropy.
Yeah, really good attack coming in from them, digging deep to try and build that comeback into this game. As MVG, they were punished on that extension. I think Entropy did such a good job of dealing with that extension out towards the office side. They maintained the man advantage throughout the round, and it's their time to shine now and give us a masterclass on how to attack. I think the major thing with these roam clears is opening the breaches first. It's just doing things in the right order. Entropy are doing an amazing job of making sure they have lines of sight available on the extension, so that way when the drones come out, they can actually act on that information. They can follow those drones in, get these open engagements in their favor, where sometimes a lot of the time you see that the information is just not quite live. You drone someone out and you go to push them, but you don't quite know exactly where you are. Entropy just don't have this problem. They're doing a great job of making use of that live information to give themselves that man advantage.
Making the most of it they can. Currently, Entropy are going to be still sticking quite religiously to this Blackbeard. I assume that Ryzen going to be switching off of him, especially with how well it worked. Any peek that MVG have been trying to work off of, as we even saw in console, MVG just like to peek and speak. That's what they do, and they speak quite loudly, but Entropy's Blackbeard is kind of the muffler for it.
And I love the fact we're going to get Blackbeard. If he keeps insta-locking Blackbeard, this will be a great game to see if he's really that menace in Siege that we all fear him to be. Rise is 2-6 at the moment, maybe needing a little bit of help with that shield operator. As Entropy and MVG also banning out the Blitz and the Monty, he is the next best thing available for walking down the defense and taking this space. And that's one of the most common challenges here on Skyscraper, is taking that space one step at a time.
One step at a time, but as we all see it down, Entropy's rendezvous here again is going to be the same as it always tends to be. What are we going to be doing, MVG? What's the counteract? Still having some players trying to push up and aggress towards Exhibition and Office. That's the best you can really do, but you just can't turn your back to your enemies at any time, especially if it's a Blackbeard of all.
We have a roaming dock as the initial engagement comes out, and he's going to find the head of the Blackbeard as well. Why are we dropping the shield there? I have no idea, but a lovely entry worked by MVG here. Is that operator that can give you so much space and push the defense back, punish extremely early. And look at this buffo. They've all retreated back to the site as well. They don't need to hang around. They've just thought, we've got the entry, we're going to get out of here and come fight us on the site.
Entropy can keep on fighting goats, but MVG, they're clear, they're nice and clean, and they're as bald as ever, as currently they've backed off, like you said. They're back inside, they're already laying down, but not for much longer, as Mandaria will be laying in his deathbed, thanks to Afla, who's put him down. And that R4C, as much as it strikes again, you've lost that Black Grid, and hopefully you can work your way around it. The Ferotoxin there are going to be denying the ace. Still the backup here from Entropy. It shows that they're working nice, clean together, and as a team, as they should be, but the shield still stands. And right now, MVG, they can use it to their most potential.
And this is where MVG, although the doc has fallen, he's wasted 2 minutes of the round, as this BP is going to be a bit of a problem as well. No Ash charges to deal with it either, so there's constant information on these attackers as they push up this position. I don't think they can clear the shield either. They can't. The nades have already been used. So there's so much utility in this extension that just can't be dealt with now by the side of Entropy.
There's a down one for Ane. The unforgiving red dot claims again and bangs for the count. MVG already on that two-man lead. And finally, Vastin looking to change things up as Afla will join him along. But the peak from MVG will be unrelenting. You're trying to play around the shield, which definitely can give you some cover. But currently, the attackers need to push. You've been surrounded the entirety of the game. You've been oppressed and you haven't been able to move. MVG have been acting as the puppeteers and looking to continue pulling these strings down. As right now, as much of these bullets as you can count, there's two entries, one major one, and you can't go into it as pleasingly as you would want to. There was an opportunity, it was missed due to timing. Now it's going to be exposed. A shot from Justice, he claims the first. Vasti the last one to stand, and he simply can't stand on his own as it's too much back pain. It's aching my heart. And just with a pistol there to show off some fashionate shots, MolotovGang will now be getting themselves into match point.
And this is what Entropy failed to do on their defense. MVG have understood how to play that middle part of the top floor. You stack the utility, you absorb a little bit of utility on the office side, that reduces the amount of utility available, and this pick early as well, on the Blackbeard, you lose the nades too. That utility would have been huge to help clear the shield, the BP, or the Azamis even stacked up on this middle part, the middle phase of the round. So losing that operator, losing that one engagement, you've lost so much utility that was almost required for Entropy Gaming to deal with the setup by MolotovGang. So that's where you really have to evaluate, do I need to be taking this gunfight? Is this what, what's the risk versus reward of me taking this fight? And unfortunately for MVG, because the risk was way higher than the reward, they've just been punished by losing that operator early.
I mean, I'm sad to say, but MVG are looking like a hydronuclear bomb against Entropy's coughing baby, because currently so many players from MVG end up just going in, getting a double, triple kill, and then just leaving as about as smoothly as they can. Entropy letting this get away has been quite an opposing force, and most times the 2 rounds that they've won has allowed them to get that refrag, and at the same time, it's been those moments there where they have been able to, of course, get them some kills.
Yeah, it's just MVG. They've got the defensive side, and in that last round, it's almost a really stark difference between Entropy in the first round compared to the second round. Entropy have shown, especially in that first attacking round, when they did get that round on the board, how coordinated they can be. And now that they're up against the Kosh, they can't sack any more of these rounds off. We need to see that coordinated Entropy for the rest of the game. They've shown they can do it. They've shown they are can be very, very capable of using these overpowered operators. Well, no Blackbeard here, as I say that. But they just need to work together. They've got it in them to do so. We just need to see them do it more often.
MVG still playing this long game. This extension we love to see at Entropy. Although what will be the response, the appropriate one to say the least, as Mandaria is still holding you down. Nicely spot, and Vasi unexpected from the window side will be claiming his first. Avla with the second victim for the count. It's an absolute robbery, but MVG, you're being scammed out of your money, or rather should I say players.
And this is so much better from Entropy. The crossfire between the Karaoke Repel and Top Black has worked a treat to isolate these MVG players, trying to extend themselves, but the re-aggression Puffo.
Ooh, Vasi. This is where Entropy starts to come back. MVG have definitely been showing to be this opposing force, but not for much longer. Stepping their foot down. Now MVG will be losing 3, looking to peek out to regain it. Mirage definitely gets away with 1. Is it good enough for 2? Yes, he is. That headshot onto Afla. An unrelenting MVG. Decisive strike one after another. And Entropy fall as they just simply can't play it safe.
Yeah, and this is Verox, just the hero of the round. He's made this into a 2v3 instead of a 2v5 single-handedly, and it's the game sense from so many of these players is phenomenal. when they just get aggressive when they need to. And we'll have to wait and see, as the 2v3 situation is much more winnable than that 2v5.
Sometimes a single player can be a one-man army, and that's what Variox tends to be. The role of his cause is he gets a beautiful flick onto main stairs. You could call it a headlock. Get a mosh check onto these. That's another one for Aina. You looking to one-tap it out, but look at MVG. They instantly back off, and Entropy now needs to force into their hands. Banks has already left. Entropy are giving up. Some of these players are completely broken mentally, but MVG are grooving it out. They're listening to music, a bit of cha-cha in the background, and they already know they've won the mental game. Now they just need to physically prove it.
2v5, Puffo. Just, you have to reset. Someone has to yell, just calm down, don't peek, don't do nothing. As unfortunately for MVG, or fortunately for MVG, they've been able to catch Entropy with their pants down. It's a 2v5 situation. If you just trade each other out, you win the game. But unfortunately for Entropy Gaming, the communication and the comms are just not there.
Tom looking to peek. MVG are holding him in one spot, one line of sight, and right now MVG looking to make sure that they're going to be the final one standing. Variox making sure that he will have you meet your maker. MVG come out on top as a 2-0. First one being flawless with a 4v5. That's unfortunate and of course unlucky, but the second one, without a doubt, MVG have proven themselves to simply be better.
Yeah, MVG, MolotovGang, doing a great job in this series. They're going to win the series 2-0 here as a dominant performance on Skyscraper. As you got to say, Variox, the hero of those last few rounds. It was him, Madraya, and then Ishan. They all had their moments to shine. They all covered for each other. When one wasn't popping off, the other one stepped up for their team. So a really good performance coming out from MolotovGang here, Puffo.
Absolutely. And well, with this result, we also have a bit of an updated bracket, if I'm correct. So let's take a look at that and see what has changed, who goes where, and of course, I mean, this is going to be the result of a 7-0, or rather 7-1 and 7-2 on Skyscraper. MVG are still looking to make themselves be one of those top champions, the best contenders when it comes down to who you tend to predict for the ESA winners. And well, let's see how they're doing as of current on the bracket line.
Yeah, so there's going to be, I believe, now it's going to be MolotovGang, who won this game, versus Minions, I believe, in the upper bracket final. And it's going to be Entropy Gaming that are forced down into the lower bracket. So our lower bracket quarter-final has now been, two of the teams in those both lower bracket quarter-finals have now been decided. So we're going to await for the rest of the lower bracket games to take place to decide who these teams are going to be fighting in that lower bracket. Unfortunately for Entropy Gaming, they are going to have to now fight their way through the lower bracket to potentially play against the Minions in the grand final. So after all of these, after the quarterfinals have finished, and now the semifinals in the upper bracket are finished as well, this is what our bracket is going to look like. Holy moly, there's a lot of waffling from me there.
Holy moly. But Entropy, maybe it just wasn't the best this time around, looking to climb back stronger than ever, as let's focus on the match of tomorrow. Now, we've talked about Minions a lot, even though that wasn't the match today, but that's what we're going to be seeing tomorrow. That's just how much of excitement is behind this too, as will be Crown Zero console facing MG Minions. Both of these teams are strong. Both of them are very considerable when it comes down to who could be taking ESA season number 10. And well, don't miss out on it, although it is delayed by 30 minutes. Just keep that in mind. Normally your times are 19:30 CST. This time around, it's going to be that perfect 20.
Yeah, just a little bit of delay on the game for our next game here on the ESA, and it was just a little correction on what I said earlier. It's going to be Ghost Army versus MVG in the next game in the upper bracket. So that's the next game over that side. But as you said, correctly, that game is going to be delayed. But as you saw today, we saw MVG absolutely cooking. So they're going to be on cloud 9 pretty much going into their next game. And hopefully for Entropy, they can learn a couple of things from this game. They can get prepared for the rest of the games they've got coming up here in the ESA, because there's so many games left to go, Puffo. We are in the middle of playoffs here on ESA. There's so much more Siege to enjoy here on the ESA Cup Season 10.
So much more to await. And for now, sadly, you know, tears in our eyes, it's heartbreaking, I know, but we're gonna have to leave you off for today. You would have loved to see more of us, don't lie to yourself, nor us, but for today, that's gonna be it. Again, thank you every single player for coming out and playing the game, of course, you know, showing the best you can and making sure that everyone gets to see that beautiful talent. Thank you to the production for allowing all of this to be possible. Thank you to ESA for allowing us to do this in the first place. And of course, thank you viewers for being around, chatting around, supporting your team, whatever it may be. And of course, thank you to this handsome dude to my right. I think it's to my right. Yeah, that's my right. But it's your left. It's your left. It's my right. But Amguns, thank you for sticking around.
No, it's been a really good cast, Popo. So just a thank you from me to Nanos for our producer, Unnamed Gamer, especially to ESA as well for letting us cast all the action here on ESA. And a final thank you to all the viewers. So once again, thank you very much for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the games we've got coming up, and we'll see you guys shortly for the rest of the playoffs.
This top floor with it being admin, but Variax right around the corner.